Welcome everybody to the January 11th, 2021 regular meeting of the Hillsborough County City County Planning Commission. Excuse me. We thank you for attending this meeting. Your comments and participation are encouraged. To minimize feedback in the audio, all participants in the meeting will be muted until it is their turn to speak. Planning commissioners who are virtual should raise their hand in WebEx to indicate they would like to speak. You can also send the chat to Melissa if you would prefer to be recognized that way. Please be sure to state your name at the beginning of your remarks for the benefit of the clerk. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments. You will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Please wait until the chair calls on you or you're recognized by HTV to begin speaking. State your name at the beginning of your comments and adhere to the time limits. If anyone has difficulties or is watching via HTV and would like to provide comments to be included in the record for local government hearing, please email them to sandy@plancom.org. That's sandy@plancom.org, SANDY@plancom.org. For action items, the meeting will be conducted as follows. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentation with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the Planning Commission when recognized by the chair. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal or response. Planning commissioners will ask questions. Public comment will be closed. Then upon a motion, a second, and discussion, a vote will be taken. With that introduction, I'll ask Commissioner Dix to lead us in the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Lord, we want to thank you for this day and the opportunity to be here and to work and serve the people of Hillsborough County. The country has gone through a time of great difficulty in the last few days, and we ask especially for your guidance and providence to continue forward and to seek leaders who are good, just, and great to guide us. Watch over us this evening, give us the wisdom to make the decisions that are best to serve as we work toward that end. It is in your name we pray. Amen. Please join me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioner Dix. All right, next up, I will ask the clerk to please call roll.
Joseph?
Here.
Bernstein?
Here.
Cardenas? Dix?
Here.
Dowdy?
Here.
Green? Kress? Kress?
Yes, Commissioner Kress is here.
Powell?
Here.
Dickerson?
Here.
Marino?
Here.
Rodriguez?
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you. All right. The next item on the list is the approval of the November minutes, but before we do that, I'm going to ask our executive director, we're going to have to skip that one also until...
Yes, we'll have to skip any action items till we get a quorum.
Thank you. All right. We will move then on to public input, and I don't believe we have anybody signed up for public input on items not on the agenda, so we will move on to item number 4, briefings and presentations, and we will start with 4A, City of Tampa Placemaking Initiative, and that will be presented by Melissa Dickens, Danni Jorgenson, and Alana Brasier.
Hi, good afternoon, Commissioners. Melissa Dickens, Planning Commission staff. I'm thrilled to introduce this next item for you. It is an overview of the City of Tampa's Placemaking Initiative. If you've been traveling around the city of Tampa lately, you've probably noticed the results of this program. It's great art in really unexpected places like intersections, baffle boxes, and stormwater inlets. And the initiative is dynamic, it's cost effective, it's interactive, and it makes streets safer, activates our public spaces, and helps to bring the community together. So we're so excited that folks from the city have come to join us today to share more information about the city's program. And today we're joined by Danni Jorgenson, the Chief Transportation Planning Engineer for the City of Tampa, and Alana Brasier, the Vision Zero Coordinator. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Danni and Alana for their presentation. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having us today. We're really excited to be joining you and sharing some of our placemaking initiatives that we've done. Can you see the presentation okay? Good. Okay. So just like Melissa mentioned, my name is Danni Jorgenson, and I'm joined with Alana, who has been with the city for just a few weeks. She's our newest member as our Vision Zero coordinator. We're so excited to have her. And we've been doing so many exciting things, which hopefully many of you have seen around town. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the program, which is very extensive. We have a lot of great projects and programs going on. So if you can see that, do you see the second slide? Okay, good. So this is kind of how the city has organized our placemaking initiatives. So we lump them all under our Art on the Block program, which is managed by our Arts and Cultural Affairs. And so there's so many different departments and divisions at the city that work collaboratively under this Art on the Block branding. So we work with Parks Department, we work with Arts, our Operations Department is just key to getting a lot of these things done. And so you'll see this is how the Mobility Department, which is the department where Alana and I work, we have a lot of different programs and projects that we do, from crosswalks to classrooms, intersection murals, painted bulb outs, and you'll be seeing some pictures and examples of all of these in the next slides. So what we do is we do a lot with paint. Paint is great because it allows us to pilot new projects and programs in a very inexpensive way. It engages people, we get to work with the community, and it also helps us to achieve some of our Vision Zero goals and objectives, which is, as Alana will talk about, the goal to reduce all fatalities and serious injuries on our roadways. So the first program that we started with, we did several years ago. This is the very first intersection mural that was done in South Seminole Heights. This was an amazing project that took years to get on the ground. It was before I joined the city, but it is a beautiful example of what can be done with just paint and some community members' time and volunteering with a paintbrush. This is a quote I really liked. It's from the South Seminole Heights, their website. And Stephen Lytle talked about how unique this opportunity was and how it brought community members together, but it's also a great solution to traffic calming and slowing drivers down, making them aware that this is a special place where there might be kids running in the street. So from that, we looked at our lessons learned and we developed this really great Paint the Town guidebook, which has steps for how you could paint the intersection if you're just a resident. So it's something that is easily digestible, and just kind of walks people through how they can do this in their own neighborhoods. We have some fine print that we like people to know. We work with our engineering team very closely. We think about federal standards. And then from that, we get another example on Palmacia. Here's another example that the Hillsborough MPO led. This is at Palm and Lamar. And not only did they do an intersection mural, which was stunning, they also paired this with a bike rodeo. So they gave away bikes to kids in the neighborhood. They brought Tampa Police Department to do some bike safety training. It was just a great event. And then during the street closures, as part of our Lift Up Local program, when we had Franklin Street closed to vehicles, we actually used that opportunity to partner with the Tampa Downtown Partnership. And Karen Kress has just been So amazing to work with. And she helped us, and the Tampa Downtown Partnership funded this mural. And you can see the mayor painting part of it. And the mural is still there if you happen to go by that intersection. Here's another beautiful example from the West Shore Alliance that they did. We, the city did a mural day, which had 5 murals all painted on the same day back in June of last year. And this is the one that the West Shore Alliance sponsored. Here's one in West Tampa. And then here's another beautiful example of one that was also done on mural day. This is the artist that came up with the concept. They all turned out so well. And this one is in Tampa Heights area at Franklin and Henderson. And this one was sponsored by Tampa Downtown Partnership and the LGBT Chamber. And so I think the theme is, I say a lot of sponsored by and partnered with. The key to the city being able to implement these is a lot of partnerships in our community. And then we also did a Black Lives Matter mural, and the Hillsborough MPO did an amazing job. They organized a program and had dancers and someone who came out and sang, and it was just a really powerful day. And then here's our Tampa mayor again, kind of helping to tape off some of the lettering that was done. And this is right outside of Perry Harvey Park. So again, some photos from the day. And we're working on this map. So far, we have 13 locations done as part of our intersection mural program. And so if you're interested in seeing it, it's in Google Earth right now. It's a GIS-based file. So we're working on kind of superimposing them on the aerials so you can zoom in and see when they were done. And then I'm going to turn this over to Alana to let her present a few slides and introduce herself a bit.
Thanks, Danny. Can you hear me okay, too? Okay, great. Well, thank you. Thanks for having us on today. We're excited to share about all our really great programs that we have. We call our Art in the Right of Way programs. So again, using paint to not only beautify and create a sense of place in our city, but also achieve our other goals of, slowing traffic, creating safer streets, engaging the community. So another of our programs is our Crosswalks to Classrooms program. So you might have seen a few of these around local schools. We've so far done, I think, 9 over the course of 2 years or so. And these are crosswalks that lead up to a local school. We work with the school and the students to identify the books that they want to be shown on the crosswalk. So the crosswalk stripes are actually the spines of books. So the kids get to pick out the 7 or 8 or 10 books that are shown in the crosswalk. So it's fun for them. It gets them involved, but it also has the purpose of showing drivers like, this is a school and this is where you should be slowing down. Our first crosswalk to classroom was at Rampello downtown. And this is the mayor's public media address, kind of doing the unveiling of it. This was also her public commitment to Vision Zero. So we had during the National Safe Routes to School conference, which was here just about a year ago, she publicly also committed to the goal of Vision Zero. So the goal of eliminating fatalities and severe injuries on our road. So it was all in all a really exciting day to unveil this crosswalk and also make that big public statement. You can go to the next slide. And as Danny mentioned, this was again another community partnership program. So Jacobs Engineering helped sponsor or co-sponsored all of the crosswalks that we've done so far. So 9 crosswalks in all. This is a picture of them at one of the crosswalk events. And we've worked with artist Jay Guru on all of these, which has been helpful in kind of learning, having lessons learned. We just actually last week had a debriefing with him of going forward, what are the things that we need to do differently. So actually switching it from having lettering on the books of the spines, but using stencils instead so that we can actually go out in the future if we see that, the paint is fading a little bit, we have the stencils. So our ops team is easily able to go out there and kind of touch it up. And you can go to the next slide. Yep, and so this was Broward Elementary. With this one, there was a book drive paired with it. So we collected hundreds of books along with this event and having their crosswalk unveiled. And you can go to the next slide. And also created some bookmarks that matched up with the crosswalks outside. So it was just really fun for the kids too, and you just kind of feel a part of it. You can go to the next slide. And then another project you guys have probably seen recently is in downtown on Ashley Drive. And this was another one we partnered with the Downtown Partnership. Shout out Karen Kress again. So they helped fund this. And this is painted bulb outs that we use. We worked with Tada. Artist is Megan Scalise, and she helped design this. And this was paired with not just paint, but we also have the planters that were donated from the Downtown Partnership, and also flex posts. So cars can't kind of go speeding around and cut the corners where pedestrians are trying to walk. So it has that added safety benefit as well. And is there any more? Yep. Okay, and so this is a new project we have coming up, working again with Megan Scalise from Tada. And this is the barrier wall that is on Kennedy Boulevard. This is another community partnership. The Gasparilla Festival of the Arts has funded this one. And so this will be coming out this spring. So it's another way we're just trying to use as much paint as possible to beautify and also achieve our other goals of slowing speeds, alerting drivers that they're in a place where they should be slowing down and paying more attention. And then this is through our stormwater management program. So this is just another way again of kind of these placemaking initiatives. These are painting our stormwater inlets. Most of these are from the Seminole Heights neighborhood. It was a very neighborhood-led program, but it's something that could be done elsewhere throughout the city. So people adopted these inlets, painted them with their own message, but just bringing awareness to people that, you know, these drains directly release out into our river and our waterways. So just be careful with litter and that sort of thing. And then lastly, we have our painted bike rack. So again, this was a newer project, again, working with the Downtown Partnership. So it's kind of a wayfinding and placemaking effort. So people who are on bikes in downtown can easily find where there's a safe place to park their bike.
And then another thing that we did during the pandemic, when streets were closed and when we were doing some of our streeteries, outdoor eateries, using our pavement sidewalks for uses other than just for cars, was we wanted to spread messaging in a temporary way about staying at home, using social distancing, wearing masks. And so we used this really cool spray chalk product, and we developed these stencils in-house and used our visual arts studio team to go out and implement these citywide. So maybe you've seen them walking around. It was just a really fun way to remind people we're all in this together, wear masks. So here are some other examples. This is my favorite because it says social distance or you walk the plank. And I just love that one. Another Tampa Downtown Partnership success are the parklets that have been popping up. This is actually an older picture. Now the parklets are flush with the sidewalk. I think there are 6 or 7 throughout the city, throughout downtown. And they've gone through and they've painted the bases of them, and they've added planters and the tables. And so they're very inviting places and a really creative way to use our parking stalls in downtown to help restaurants that have really needed that extra help. And then we also try to use capital projects and think about how we can, you know, when we're replacing a sidewalk slab or doing something else, how can we make it a place where people just feel a little bit more creative? And so we're looking at doing some sidewalk cartouches and poetry stamps. So the city has hired a poet laureate, and we're working with our art department to think through that. The city of Clearwater has recently started this similar program. And so it's really helpful having other people in the industry to work with and learn from. Then we also have Roundabout Art. Everyone knows this example, but on 34th Street, which is another mobility capital project, we're working with the community to help envision, how can we use the center of the roundabouts in creative ways, and working with arts and working with local artists whenever possible. And so with that, Alana and I will take any questions that you all have.
Thank you for the great presentation. We'll open it up to the commissioners now. Commissioner Kress, yes?
I just wanted to send a shout out back to the city of Tampa. Some of these things that they just showed were things that we were hoping to do for the last 10 plus years. And it wasn't really until this team got in place under this administration that they say yes to almost everything. So it's been a breath of fresh air, and the city's been a great partner to work with.
Thank you, Commissioner Kress. Yes.
Yeah, and
Commissioner
I would
Bernstein.
join in Commissioner Kress's gratitude extended to the city, but add that the Vision Zero component of this and the safety element of this, it's easy to lose sight of it and against the backdrop of just the beautiful murals themselves, but I love the fact that it serves that dual purpose, and I think all of you should be commended for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernstein. Are there any more comments? Commissioner Dix?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Commissioner Kress, for your efforts on that. That was awesome. I think we're in total, complete agreement. It's not only a great presentation, but it was a great thing to do. And I'm wondering if it's appropriate, and I can turn the attention to the question to our executive director to see if it would be appropriate to have the Planning Commission consider some sort of resolution to be conveyed to the 3 cities of our county as well as the county to encourage participation in the arts by the community and nonprofits, and meaning to accomplish several things, not only the beautification, but also the calming of the streets. And these are things that can be simply done, and it would also solicit some real excitement among the participants and involvement in their community. And so I think if we can accomplish several things, accomplishing beautification, calming of the streets, and some excitement and people participating, that would be a good thing. And perhaps the Planning Commission could take the lead in trying to encourage that to the other communities. Would that be appropriate to come up with some type of a resolution?
Yes, absolutely. If that is your all's desire, we could bring that back for your next meeting.
I think it'd be wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that in the form of a motion, Mr. Chairman, or you can simply see if there is any objection, or however you want to handle that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know that we can, well, I guess now we can make a motion.
Well, to direct the executive director to formulate some sort of resolution for our consideration.
Right. Yeah, is there any objection to having the executive director bring that back to us this meeting? No? Commissioner Cardenas, hello? No? All right. Sound good,
Okay.
Melissa?
Yes,
All right.
sure thing. I don't know if you want to check with Commissioner Powell and Marino, who are online.
Yeah, that's my next.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, perfect.
I see Commissioner Powell on the screen. Yes, please go ahead, Commissioner Powell.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. I actually was just going to make a similar statement to what Commissioner Dix just brought up, that I would love to see something like this happen in South County and Temple Terrace, Plant City as well. Because I do believe that these are really great installations that bring a lot of community together and for a great cause. So I would definitely, if there was a motion coming forward, I'll be that second.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Powell. Well, it's not an action item, so I don't think we're going to need a motion just yet, but I will.
Commissioner Dickerson sent me a text she'd like to speak.
Okay, Commissioner Dickerson, please go ahead.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to commend both Danni and Alana on their efforts as well, and also point out that we do have our own school internal circulation group. So anytime y'all want to partner on these or come up with a more robust plan for schools, please feel free to reach out. But it's very impressive. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you say you had a message from Commissioner Marino also? I don't
No.
see him anywhere on the, okay.
No,
Just checking.
thank you.
Were there any more comments or input from the commissioners? All right, seeing none, I'll thank you again for the presentation, and we will move on to our next item. The next item up is 4B, Speed Management Study, and it will be presented by Gena Torres.
Hi, great. I will go forward. I thought there was a quorum, but I'm glad that I get to go because this presentation is so in line with what you just heard. So this makes a lot of sense for me to follow up with my presentation. So good afternoon, I'm Gena Torres, and I'm an executive planner for you and the MPO. And it's always a pleasure to share some of the work being done on the transportation side of things with you. And today I'll give you a very brief update overview of Vision Zero and how it led us to develop a speed management action plan and how we've really already applied the strategies to a study that the county asked us to help them on, and maybe just mention a couple of our next steps. And I'm aware that we have some Vision Zero advocates and champions on this very commission. So I'm not going to take too much time explaining Vision Zero other than to say our community is faced with some of the most severe injury and fatal crashes in the country. And when we learned of Vision Zero about 4 years ago, we embraced that belief that it's unacceptable that our friends and neighbors are dying on our roadways. So really the Planning Commission, the MPO led the charge in saying, yeah, let's develop an action plan. You have a resolution about Vision Zero already. And we brought together a group that included the usual suspects like engineers and law enforcement, but also hospitals and the NAACP and business owners. And everyone agreed to help guide the development of this action plan. And it took over a year, but the plan came together under these 4 action tracks. And we really focused on some low cost, implementable within a couple of years, because we wanted to see some immediate results. We wanted to see crashes reduce. And I'll just quickly go over those action tracks because it makes sense as to where we got to the speed management action plan. But under consistent and fair, we work with our local law enforcement agencies. We share crash analysis. So we want them to better focus their efforts. And we adopted a couple of the high injury corridors and held events, awareness events, and it really helps to grow some positive relationships between law enforcement and the community there. And those yellow signs have become really popular. We lend them to neighborhoods who hold their own sign waving events. The paint saves lives. I think you've heard plenty about how well paint can work, but it also includes in our Vision Zero action plan things like leading pedestrian intervals, because these are kind of pop-up quick engineering solutions that do a lot to help improve safety. So even putting planters out that reduce the crossing distances that people need to cross. And the DOT, they held an art contest for the traffic signal cabinet wraps, and we've seen what the city is doing. One Message, Many Voices action track was kind of our education and outreach. And it's really where most of our efforts were spent in the first few years. We educate people about what Vision Zero is and developed a web page and a Facebook account. And we have a speakers bureau, and we've marched in parades, and we've held walks of silence to honor victims who have died. We read their names out loud, and we want to remember them as people and humanize them. But the last action track, the 4th one, is Futures Not Like the Past. And this is where we list strategies that will lead to more institutional changes. We've reviewed roadway design manuals. We're encouraging LED streetlights to be used. They're so much brighter. We push for roundabouts where possible. And one of the longer term strategies that were listed in the action plan was to create a speed management action plan. So we did. And the MPO finalized and approved the plan this July 2020. It's got one goal and several outcomes that will lead to good speed setting practices and reduce serious injuries and deaths. That's our goal. 4 meetings were held with stakeholders who would be the implementers of the action plan. They led its development. We had representatives from the cities and the county, law enforcement, transit agencies, our health department, and they were really engaged, and they were giving us some really needed pushback too. They were skeptical about the idea that maybe we were going to suggest just lowering all the speeds across the county, to 20 or something. So it was very good engagement, and we came with ended up with a lot of good compromises that the implementers were comfortable with. Speed related crashes, we have to emphasize that they have such significant impacts on our community, but unfortunately, they've been kind of normalized. We don't seem to get as up in arms about how many people are dying relating to speed and aggressive driving. It's well known that the likelihood of a serious injury increases significantly as speed increases. So at 20 miles an hour, if there was a crash, a pedestrian or cyclist will have an 80% chance of survival. Well, at 40, it's a 20% chance of survival. And I know that doesn't feel very different as a motorist sometimes when you've increased that speed from 20 to 40. But we can infer then really that any streets with speeds over 40 miles an hour will likely result in crashes with deadly consequences. Our peripheral vision is notably reduced as speed increases, and that increases our reaction time to avoid a crash. Various national agencies have documented that with the right policies, technologies, and strategies, we really can prevent roadway deaths, and they recommend an overhaul in the way that speed limits are set. The 85th percentile is the way that they're done now, and it doesn't really make any sense. It's not appropriate anymore. So we're seeing reports from early adopters across the country that they're seeing some significant progress when they've managed their speeds in their community. So after documenting all the challenges, we set out to prioritize those top 20 high injury corridors that were identified in the Vision Zero Action Plan. And we looked at those specifically for where speed played a significant critical role. We wanted to, though, start with a reevaluation of that crash data that came from the Vision Zero Action Plan, which was getting a couple years old. And I just want to note a couple of statistics. 83% of fatalities occur during non-peak. And what this shows is that we've designed our roads for rush hour. So we leave many of them wide open and easy for speeding during the rest of the day. 71% had aggressive driving or speed-related contributing factors, and 92 occurred on streets with posted speeds over 40 miles an hour. The 7 factors, we identified 7 factors to evaluate for the prioritization. These were factors that we had good data on and that the stakeholders felt comfortable with moving forward. And then we used a risk assessment. So the higher the exposure, the more likely a severe crash could occur or might occur. This looks busy, but this is the evaluation criteria of the 7 that was the most concerning to us. It's the posted speed versus the context classification. We compared the land use context around the top 20 corridors listed on the left, suburban, urban, emerging.
We're not seeing your presentation. Can you actually share that present?
Have you not seen any of it to this point?
No, ma'am. I thought you were actually, no, I didn't thought you were, I was waiting for you to pop it up. I thought it was actually, you were going.
That's horrible. So let me just do something really quickly for you, okay? And I promise I'm not going to start over, but let me just do this for you. And now I'm going to, hang on, because I do know what I'm doing. It just has a slight pause here. All right. Sure. Okay, I'm going to assume that you will see this in just a second. I hope you do. And you're seeing, you're seeing the note version?
Stand by, it's loading. Nope, we got the full screen version here.
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry, folks. I wish I'd been interrupted a little sooner. I'm gonna just go through the slides. So we picked the Vision Zero. You guys were very instrumental in why the Vision Zero plan was developed, and these are our partners. The plan is around, these are the 4 action tracks. And here's where we've worked with law enforcement, where you've seen enough of this, but this is the Paint Saves Lives. Our one message, many voices, our outreach and education. This is where we've done our marches and held all sorts of events to explain what Vision Zero was about. And this is the action track where the speed management was identified. And this is where we have these longer term changes, institutional changes we'd like to see. So the speed management action plan, here's our goal. These were just a picture of the stakeholders that came together and were really engaged in moving the plan forward into something that they were willing to implement for us. Here's where I was just talking about how normalized our speed problems are in our country, how we seem to normalize them. We don't seem to be as kind of up in arms. And here's that description I was telling you about the likelihood of death and injury when speed increases. And it's because of our peripheral vision and our ability to react. And that we can infer that where roads have 40 miles an hour or greater posted speeds, that there's a serious crash, maybe resulting in death, can occur or is likely to occur. So across the country, we've had some great guidance. We identified and gave a notice to these things in our speed management action plan. And then we moved on to the prioritization. And I was telling you guys about the statistics and how, non-peak hour and these other kind of concerning numbers. And what, in a weird way, was satisfying to me, and not in an odd way, was that when we redid this crash analysis, because this Vision Zero data was getting a little old, the top 20 were still in the top 20. So there was not like an anomaly where we're going to start working on a roadway that didn't need, investment. They all were still up there. So here's the prioritization factors that we all agreed to use. And this particular slide, which is busy, is that one I think that you, especially as the land use commissioners, would be maybe most interested in. But this is where the context of the roadway is compared to the posted speed limits. And when you look at the national best practices, we found that 70% of our high injury corridors have posted speeds in excess of 5 to 10 miles an hour. 15% of the posted speeds were 15 to 20 miles an hour over the national best practices. So we know that most drivers travel 5 to 10 miles an hour above the speed limit. So we have a real serious problem with our speed setting. And if we don't manage speed, we're not going to be able to achieve Vision Zero. So this slide contains all of those criteria that I mentioned, including the context and the posted speed across the top there, the proximity to schools, is this along a transit route? So we weighted the scores, and those are shown in the last column. The top 8 are in that reddish color, and we're currently studying, I think, almost all of those. I didn't include a slide for this, but we did expand in the Speed Management Action Plan to look at the next 30. So now we do have the top 50 high injury corridors, and we're prioritizing and analyzing those as well. So the action plan includes a toolkit of treatments based on Vision Zero principles of safe streets, speeds, and people. We let the car industry and shared mobility folks handle the safe vehicle strategies. But this is just a sample page that's in the action plan that an engineer, when they're preparing to make a change on a roadway, they can look at this toolkit. It'll be at their fingertips, depending on the area and the type of roadway and the kind of improvement that they'll be making. Countermeasures may include raised pedestrian crosswalks or a roundabout, or redesigning high-speed off-ramps or traffic signal coordination. So there's several pages of tools that they can pull from. And the last piece of the Speed Management Action Plan lists the specific overall actions that need to be taken. And I'm not going to go over this in any detail. I'm just going to show you that the actions are grouped around speed setting, engineering, education, policy, and evaluation. And then we've kind of identified whether they are short, mid, or long term. And you won't see all the steps to take under each action, but those are, of course, listed in the action plan. So just for example, under speed setting, the midterm action is to form a local task force on speed limit setting. For engineering and operations, it covers a wide spectrum of elements, like having more design flexibility and offering professional training. There are 3 actions under education. It includes developing a citizen and elected champion for safe streets and getting some support that way. Policy and legislative actions are identified that cover how to set speed limits and supporting automated enforcement. That's been proven to be really effective, but very politically charged. But we hope that we can move forward on automated enforcement. And then again, like each of the actions have a long list of steps to take, and they're identified in the Speed Management Action Plan. And the last is evaluation. And it's one action. It calls for routine updates and establishing qualitative and quantitative measures. So this is a really quick overview. You didn't even get to see most of the pictures until when I went through them quickly. But the actions and strategies are listed in the Speed Management Action Plan, and I suggest looking at that. I wanted to tell you, though, really quickly that we were asked by the BOCC to study 8 of those top 20. They were in the county's jurisdiction, and we did this over the summer, and it was really the first application of the Speed Management Action Plan. To engage the public during COVID, we left fact sheets describing the crash history with a link to an online survey, and we placed those along the 8 corridors at like takeout restaurants and gas stations and barbershops, and had it inserted in the neighborhood newsletter, and of course used social media. And the word cloud gives you an idea of the feedback we heard from the public, that speed really was leading the way as the greatest citizen concern. And here's just a couple of the examples of countermeasures being suggested and where along each of those corridors. The 8 draft reports will be presented to the MPO for approval this Wednesday. So if you want to hear more in depth about what we suggested for each of those 8 corridors, you can listen to that presentation. So what's next? Well, we documented our Vision Zero efforts and really found some significant accomplishments by all of our partners. I mean, the counties and cities, they're doing a lot of great things, but we also still have some really concerning crash numbers. So this is my last slide. With the challenge of not having the transportation surtax funds, which really were going to be used to do some of those physical changes to the streets, we really thought we could organize a Vision Zero Leadership Summit to look for some low and maybe even no-cost solutions to bringing more attention and more safety to our roadways. So Melissa Zernita joined us on the land use panel, where the discussion focused on how to create relationships with developers to invest in safety improvements. Our high visibility enforcement panel talked about the best use of their law enforcement resources to curb speeding. And the neighborhood relations panel talked about getting people to say, how soon can you finish, instead of why are you doing this to us? So we'll continue to develop these relationships along with the MPO's usual business of prioritizing and funding like complete streets projects and other safety projects in our TIP and our long range transportation plan. So sorry about you missing a lot of those slides, but that is the end of the presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Are there any comments from the commissioners on this presentation? I'm not seeing anybody in the room. Oh, Commissioner Bernstein, yes, please, go ahead.
Ms. Torres, first, thanks for the presentation. Really a question back to you on the complete streets aspects of this. I've heard from time to time different reports from those in the business community. Some really appreciate all the work you're doing. Some, I think, still labor under some confusion about what the intention of complete streets is. And I guess my question to you is simply, what kind of outreach and tools do we have available to educate the business community on the importance of complete streets, what the end objectives are, and where they fit in?
That's great. There's so many specific projects that came to mind when you started bringing that up, because the business community are essential, really, along with the citizens. But I just was thinking of when a business specifically came to us and wanted to see about two-waying part of Columbus, I think it's street or drive at that point. And because they recognize the opportunity for more traffic visibility if the roadway was two-way. And the same thing is happening on Howard and Armenia. So, and I think about 40th Street too. 40th Street, the roundabouts had a lot of pushback south of where they currently are now. But if you go and speak to the businesses like Alabama John's Barbecue, people are accessing their business without being hurt or killed. They can turn around very easily at the roundabout, but these are the kinds of feedback and relationships that will help advance those projects in more places. I don't think we're getting a lot of pushback from businesses on any of the others that order stuff. That's kind of how we reach them.
Got the gist of it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Bernstein. Ms. Torres, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Torres, good presentation and a number of really good things that you brought up. And I wanted to touch on a little bit, you brought up roads being designed for rush hour versus the off hour, so people were speeding, in the off periods, and but I want to cut a lot of the efforts that you've got proposed. It just, in my mind, I think they're going to be obviously there's no quick fix. It's going to be long term to make some of this stuff happen. And I want to caution you that, at least in my opinion, I don't know that just changing the posted speed limit by itself is going to be enough. I know I'm guilty of this myself personally, especially when I travel out of town into places where I'm not necessarily familiar with the roads and the speed limits on the roads, but I might tend to drive my vehicle based upon the feel of the road and how comfortable I am on that corridor. So the more roads that we have, it's one of those catch-22s. You design a road to be safe, so you design it to be wide and be able to travel, but the wider you make the road, the faster people tend to feel comfortable to travel on. So I'm not sure. I've seen a lot of things. We were talking about speed reduction. We've come up with traffic calming measures, raised pedestrian crossings, and then the presentation right before yours about the benefits of paint. I don't know if there's a way to make the roads, to simply make our roadways feel a little bit more constricted, which would force people to slow down. And is there a way to make that variable in some manner, shape, or form to where it might be a little bit wider in rush hour to move the volume of people, and then constrict it a little bit more maybe in the off hours when there aren't that many cars? I don't have any magic bullets. I'm just telling you that, just changing a speed limit on a roadway might take you a decade before people get that picture. And it'd be interesting to see if there was a way that maybe, using that the paint concept before, if you could, put some roads on a diet without actual construction measures being implemented. So those are my comments. Thanks.
If I may just offer a couple of, I loved what I agree with everything you just said. And not every road is the same. We have some great results from Fletcher, which had a number of complete streets applications to it. And we've seen really significant drops in fatal and serious injuries. So we know it works. We know that those applications could be applied in other places. It wouldn't make sense to do that on some other roadways, completely, like Hillsborough Avenue. You can't really do that necessarily. So I love your point there. You're right. It's not about putting a sign up. I will give some credit to speed enforcement. And if there were speed cameras, which have been installed in other cities and communities, you get a couple of those and you start not speeding after that. So enforcement is kind of part of this, as well as definitely designing a road so it doesn't feel so comfortable, like to keep up with the person next to you who is going too fast. It's definitely got to be a redesign of a roadway. You can educate, and I do try to humanize those victims to make people think, wow, I don't want to be the person that kills, a grandmother. But it's hard to really get that instilled. So enforcement, speed enforcement, and redesigning roads, I think, for the right roadway, for the right context. But thank you for those comments. Definitely. I agree.
Thank you, Commissioner Danni. I see Commissioner Powell on the screen. I didn't know if he had some comments. Yes? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Torres, I was, again, echo some of the other commissioners, a really great presentation. I had a few questions about some of the painting of the roadways. Specifically, why haven't we seen any of that happen just yet along, Bayshore, like in Rome? Because I know that I've personally in the last few months have witnessed, 2 really bad accidents with pedestrians getting hit on Rome, one of which we had to, wait around for the police to get there to, file a report with a jogger who got hit. Luckily, she wasn't, too badly hurt. But then I saw another young man or older man, I believe, on a bike and right in front of the park there. He really got messed up, and that's a really slow speed zone around 4 or 5 o'clock. So has there to answer, I'll let you answer that question, then I have a follow-up.
Great, okay. And Danny's off here, but I will, and I think she'll agree with me. So by the way, the city of Tampa has a program. The county does not yet have a program. So although Temple Terrace does have a really beautiful mural they painted, I wanted to make sure I gave them a shout out because it's really nice. So there's definitely some specifications about which roadways you can do those on. The cities now seem to be a little bit more open to it because it used to not be allowed on like a collector and grader or something. It had to be a local road. And for different reasons, engineering things that I can't explain, but and then also the ability, and it doesn't really matter in the one that your example, but to manage traffic for a day to get them around if you're going to close the intersection. But there's lots of ways to get around in that community that you mentioned. So there's different criteria, I should say, for what roadways can be done. And also right now it's been citizen driven. Like people will come and say, I want this here. And then we can find the funding, we get, people to sponsor. So I wouldn't eliminate the ones that you're recommending. I think that's something the city and this community can look forward to doing.
Okay. And I was just curious as well. I mean, I remember when, the two pedestrian deaths, did happen on Bayshore last year. And I do echo the fact that I think that in order to reduce speed limit, having additional police maybe that are dedicated, just to those, areas, would be, perfect, but that's not going to be sustainable, I don't think. I think the public forgets about it once it's off the media, for a little bit. I've found personally, in my opinion, like speed bumps and things like that are really great deterrents in order to, slow speed cars down. Have you all had any designs, or have you seen anything to where there's street art and scapes, but there's also a speed bump that's there as well? So it's kind of like a two-factor of, hey, I know that the paint is going to help, reduce the speed, but also there's this bump, that's there, as well.
Yeah. Okay. There's such an echo. I don't know why. When you said the two deaths on Bayshore, it made me think, which ones? Unfortunately, there's been so many. And I just wanted to mention that the same day that Lilia and Jessica died, so did Leela Reed. She was an older Black woman that died on 40th Street that same day, May 23rd. I won't forget it. I get the chills. But then there was the cyclist and the motorist. And then there was, there's just like, it's really ridiculous about that. And a lot has been invested on Bayshore. It isn't necessarily even, well, it might now be in one of the top numbers, but compared to Hillsborough Avenue, which has 11 deaths, a year on it. So I guess my point here is I liked your idea. I think what makes engineers and, if it has to be a political or a board decision to feel comfortable is having some data to support that worked. So it would probably be helpful if we knew some places that they kind of paired the artwork with the treatment and that was successful. Then there's a lot more support to keep doing more of those. So I would have to kind of research to see where that's been done. But, I'm telling you, Fletcher Avenue has a lot of these crossings and it's really slow traffic down. So I'd like that idea.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your presentation.
Sure.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Are there any more comments? I don't see any more in the room or on the screen. Commissioner Dix? Nope. Okay. All right. So with that, I will move on and we will move back. Oh, thank you, Ms. Torres. We will move back to our approval of minutes because we're going to move on to action items now that we have a quorum. Maybe not.
Well, two of them just left the room, so.
All right. Well, no, here they come. I see them coming back in. Let's give them a minute here. All right, we'll move. Should I move on to the presentation first then, and then we'll do the approval of minutes after the presentation? Because hopefully Commissioner Cardenas will be back in here by then.
Yes, if we want to start with 3A number 1, we could start with the presentation on that one.
All right, we will do that one. 3A1, Land Development Code Text Amendment, and it will be presented by David Hay.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. David Hay with your Comprehensive Plan and Policy Review Division. The next LDC amendment, well, the first one up for your review is Section 27-228, dealing with the Planned Development Alternative Zoning District. This is part of the July 2020 cycle of amendments. It is a privately initiated amendment. It is seeking numerous changes again to the Planned Development Alternative Zoning District. These changes include clarifying and updating references to departments and code sections, clarifying reference to future land use categories, removing the 5-year time frame, reducing the minimum size of the PDA from 50 acres to 20 acres, and clarifying site plan submittal requirements. Overall, the comprehensive plan is supportive of the continued review of development regulations to respond to changing market and demographic conditions. As the city has developed over the years, there are not many 50-acre parcels left. The proposed change would streamline development approvals on parcels between 20 to 50 acres by creating additional flexibility during the site development phase. And based on that, your Planning Commission staff does recommend that the proposed Land Development Code text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. I believe LaShawn Dock with the city is on as well, as so is Tyler Hudson, the applicant.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much, Mr. Chair and commissioners. And I'm going to share my screen, if I may, just to do a brief presentation. Can you see my screen, the presentation?
Not yet.
Not yet, ma'am.
Let me try it one more time. I'm sorry, hold on just a second. Okay, I think here we go.
There we go, yep.
Okay, and thank you again. And this is a, as David mentioned, this is a privately initiated amendment. You're still seeing the PowerPoint, is that correct?
I think it went off, LaShawn.
It's not on.
Yeah, we lost it, LaShawn.
Maybe I can't put it in full screen mode. Hold on a second. Can you see it now? No? I apologize. Hold on just a second. I'm just going to leave it there. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, it's in preview mode.
I think I'll leave it there for some reason when I put it in the slideshow. It doesn't show. And so I'll go ahead and present from this. So thank you so much again for your time. This is item number 1, which, as David has mentioned, is a privately initiated text amendment. This is a part of that July 2020 cycle, as David has mentioned. The applicant is Tyler Hudson, and the request is just to amend Code Section 27-228. One thing I wanted to review, David kind of did an overall list. I wanted to break out what the changes that were proposed by staff versus the changes proposed by the applicant. So the staff proposed to make minor corrections. One was to the department name. As you know, within the city's zoning department, we do have a tendency to change our name from time to time, just depending on the administration. And we've recently changed. We're now development coordination. So one thing we did was we've made reference to the department, and that has been defined. That way, as our name changes, it covers our area. Also, what we've done is we've removed the requirement to submit hard copy site plans. When we had our seller permitting system bought online back in 2014, that eliminated that requirement. So we're just updating these sections as we actually tackle them and receive them for amendment request. One thing we did was we added just the word applicant to the language, just ensuring clarification and consistency in reference to the subdivision and commercial plan review process. So that was a very minor revision. One thing is the request before you from the applicant is to reduce that PDA required acreage from 50 acres to 20 acres. I want to mention that the applicant initially submitted the request requesting to actually amend it to 30 acres. Upon staff review, we found that it would be beneficial to have that reduced to 20 acres. And I'm going to go into some of that process with you to give a brief explanation. So that is the language moving forward from 50 to 20 acres. What I've done for you is on this chart, on this page, these are the requirements for PD development, plan development on the left, and on the right side is for the PDA or the plan development alternative development. So on the left side for the plan development, that is for parcels which are up to 50 acres. It requires a detailed site plan. Upon city council hearing and approval, then that plan is ready to go to permitting. And also on the PDA side of things, on the right side of the chart, you'll see listed those requirements. So for the PDA, it's for parcels which are over 50 acres. So as for a larger scale project, it requires a conceptual site plan submittal for review at council and approval. So in that conceptual site plan, it's identifying the overall boundary of the project. It also identifies certain entitlements. In some cases, it will specify where those entitlements will be placed within the project boundary. It's really for phase development when you get to those larger scale projects. The additional step that is added in the PDA versus the PD requirements is the incremental site plan review. That is a process that is an administrative review that is done. It does not go back to city council. That administrative review of that incremental site plan is the detailed plan, which will show the building placement, the use, the placement of the use, the parking, everything is shown on that. It is compared to the conceptual site plan. Once that is approved, then it moves forward to permitting. So what I've done is shown the same requirements, but just with the proposed change. This is showing it with the 20 acres change. So staff felt in review that this would help in streamlining the process. So what happens is someone comes in, let's say with a project that's 30 acres. Right now, they're forced to go into a PD. In that PD, they're showing curb cuts, parking placement, solid waste placement, and it really commits them to that PD site plan. If they have changes, then they're back at council doing another PD. So we're hoping to eliminate that and allowing that flexibility with those parcels that are between the 20 and 50 acre size. So what we did was we took a look citywide at the parcel count. So this chart shows you for the city of Tampa. On the left, the columns that are in the gray are the parcel size by acreage. And on the blue area, that shows the number of parcels. So this is the citywide, and then we also broke it into areas north of Fowler and south of Fowler. So the thought is that we felt when we looked at it citywide, you'd have the majority of the parcels that are north of Fowler is where we would find a lot of vacant parcels, or the larger plots of land, just because it's northeast area, North Tampa. And you can see for the parcels that are over 50 acres, north of Fowler, there's a total of 46. And then south of Fowler, when you get more central into the city, there's a total of 37. So we do have more parcels north than we do central. And What we did was, this was routed for city departmental review. We received no objections. Development coordination supports the request. We feel it does eliminate the need for administrative reviews for project design changes, which typically occur at the time of permitting. This also allows for increased flexibility in developing larger parcels of land. And as far as the scheduling, we'll have today our planning commission meeting. Last month, we briefed city council members, and we also brought this before the commissioners, before this commission for briefing. So moving ahead, we're looking at city council workshop on January 28th, city council first reading February 4th, with final adoption mid-February on February 18th. And with that, this concludes my presentation. I'm certainly available if you have any questions. And as David mentioned, we do have the applicant, Tyler Hudson, online. And I believe he wants to speak on the request also.
Yes,
to you and your team for all the hard work on this. In the interest of time, I'm not going to make a presentation. I'm just going to give you a little bit of context, commissioners, on why I filed this application back in July. First, I'd just like to note we agree with all of the staff changes. We think it's a lot better of an amendment as a result of their review. So we accept and agree with all the proposed revisions. The PDAs are really a great tool for development that has far too high of a threshold to actually use it. As LaShawn noted, there really are not many 50-acre parcels, particularly when you talk about any area that's in an urban village or that has really infill development potential. So I think reducing the threshold down to 20 acres is going to be a great thing. Just want to talk briefly about really why this is such a great tool and why expanding the potential developments that can use it will be a good thing. A PDA really answers the kind of the what and the where, the who of a development, but it doesn't have to answer the how, and that's really what a PD does. A plan development has the who, the where, the what, but also the how. And that how a development actually comes to be with the curb cuts. Are you going to have a trash compactor? Where's the trash compactor going to be? That level of detail requires a civil engineer who, like lawyers, can be expensive, but really more importantly than that, it requires a level of assurance about what your development is going to look like, that for any large scale development or a development that's going to be phased over time, you simply don't have. So you're in a situation where you go to city council, you get a very specific PD engineered site plan approved. And once you have a slight change, because let's say you have your multifamily partner changes, or you refinance and change the scope of the development a little bit, you're back at city council again, because there's a 14-part criteria for what is deemed a substantial change. And it's pretty expansive. So you're often at city council multiple times. Project costs go up, delays often create significant cost overruns, and frankly, those are often passed down to the end consumers of real estate, either purchasers or tenants, customers, et cetera. So I think this is a really great amendment that's going to affect a couple of different projects that this commission will be hearing about in relation to some map amendments. So I look forward to talking to you all about those at the appropriate time, and I'm happy to answer any questions. And again, thanks, big thanks to LaShawn, all the city staff and planning commission staff for all their help on this. Thanks.
Thank you very much. All right, we will open it up at this. We'll open it up at this point in time for public comment. I will ask HTV and also our executive director if we have anybody on the list for this item for public comment.
I don't believe anyone has called in for this item, sir.
All right, thank you very much. And since we don't have anyone signed up, we will forego the rebuttal by the applicant. And I will turn it over to planning commissioners for comments or questions on this item. I don't see any in the room. I don't see any hands raised or faces popping up online. I'll check with our executive director to see if she got any messages. No? All right. Seeing no comments or further discussion, I will close public comment and I will open the floor up to motions from the commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move that Planning Commission approve the attached resolution finding proposed land development code text amendment regulated regulations on plan development alternative zoning district consistent with the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan and forward the recommendation to City Council.
All right. I have a motion by Commissioner Danni, and I think I saw a second by Commissioner Powell there online.
Correct.
I have a motion by Commissioner Danni, a second by Commissioner Powell. Is there any more discussion of this item? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to go ahead and call roll.
Joseph?
Yes.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Dix?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Green? Kress?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Dickerson? Oh, wait, sorry. Marino?
Yes. Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on to our next item, 3.2, front porches and permitted projections into required yards. The presenter will be Jennifer Malone.
Actually, I think the next one is the West Tampa overlay.
Oh, sorry, yes. West Tampa over, no? Isn't that the one we just did?
No, we did the plan development alternative.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that. West Tampa overlay, and the presenter will be David Hay again.
Good afternoon again, Commissioners. David Hay with your Comprehensive Plan and Policy Review Division. The next amendment for your consideration is an LDC text amendment within the City of Tampa, Section 27-241. It's regarding the West Tampa overlay. This is part of the January 2020 cycle. This is a privately initiated amendment. It's the applicant is the West Tampa CRA. And the proposed language consists of several changes to existing adopted land development code text. These changes include the encouragement of vehicular access from adjacent alleys, architecture-related changes, including recognition of neighborhood character in new development, building orientation, and structured parking design, and updating fencing and wall requirements, to name a few. All these proposed changes were found consistent, and all related comprehensive plan policies are provided in the back of your staff report and are shown in green. One change, though, did raise an issue. The change proposes a reduction from 100% opaque screening to 50% opaque screening for open storage uses. The applicant states this change is needed so as to promote the principle of CPTED, which is crime prevention through environmental design. For a little context, I have provided a future land use map for the West Tampa area. Several of the main corridors, including Main Street and Howard and Armenia Avenues, have properties designated as Community Commercial 35. Open storage uses are deemed as one of the most intensive uses in the Land Development Code, and as such can only be considered in the commercial intensive industrial general, or industrial heavy zoning districts. Though currently there is only one identified open storage use in the district, the use can be considered anywhere you see the red representing the CC35 future land use category. As you can see, these intensive corridors are abutting residentially planned areas. Also, West Tampa is one of the oldest neighborhoods in the city, and lots are typically very small, with some under 50 feet wide. This places uses in very close proximity to each other, creating situations where screening may be the only way to mitigate for an intense use. The comprehensive plan seeks to protect established residential areas and to reduce impacts of commercial uses on adjacent residential areas. The comprehensive plan encourages non-residential uses to be sensitive to and appropriately buffered from established residential uses. Policies that conflict with the proposed change are shown in red in the back of your staff report. Here we have a photo of the only identified existing open storage use in the West Tampa overlay. As you can see, the use is right up against the adjacent residential use. Though the screening does not do much for the second floor unit in the rear, it is the only effort to mitigate for the use on the adjacent residential unit. Planning Commission staff found that the weakening of existing screening requirements, especially when open storage uses are adjacent to residential uses, is moving away from the adopted policy guidance. The comprehensive plan does have language that promotes SEPTED principles, specifically Land Use Policy 1.2.24, but this language is directed more at building design and placement, not storage uses. Overall, your Planning Commission staff had concerns regarding the specific open storage change. Though the proposed change is trying to address a perceived crime issue, the change may inadvertently create a new issue by imposing negative impacts on adjacent residential uses, especially if a new open storage use are permitted in the district under that CC35 future land use category. Therefore, based on the current wording of the proposed Land Development Code text change, Planning Commission staff is recommending to you today that the West Tampa Overlay Land Development Code amendment be found inconsistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. That concludes my presentation. I believe LaShawn Dock of the city has a presentation as well. Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon again, commissioners. I'm going to share my screen. I apologize to have lost video, but let me bring my screen up. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. This is the second item on this afternoon's agenda. This is the privately initiated text amendment. As David has mentioned, this is an amendment to the West Tampa overlay. I'd like to mention that we have had staff work with us on this request, in addition to representatives from both the West Tampa CRA and the West Tampa Community Advisory Committee. We have Jesus Nino on the line. He is with the CRA. He's the West Tampa CRA manager. And then we have Carlos Ramirez online also. He is the Infrastructure Subcommittee Chairman for the West Tampa Community Advisory Committee. And I will discuss as we go through the language that this has been an effort that has taken place over several years, and the West Tampa CAC as well as the CRA has worked with the planning department to bring forth this language for you. And just the background, as I mentioned, the time frame of creating some of these changes to the overlay language. The goal was updating certain review procedures and design elements within the district. And then, as David mentioned, some of the items are, of course, for cleanup items. Just to orient you on the area. So the area that is identified on this map in the orange coloring, that is the West Tampa overlay. The boundary that is identified in yellow is the West Tampa CRA boundary. So the language proposed today that is before you would actually affect the West Tampa overlay, that orange boundary. And first, I'll review with you the language proposed in the commercial district. So one thing we did was, again, we've cleaned up the department name, the submission language requirements, hard copy versus the electronic copies of the site plans. Also, what was amended as a part of the request is we corrected the code section, which is referenced for the landscape plan, and we added the shade tree requirement at a minimum caliber of 3 inches versus 4 inches. And now we get into the changes also proposed. This is a continuation of the changes proposed with this request. One is that the principal building would be designed as the principal entry for the site. And then this is the change that David has mentioned. Planning Commission staff had a concern with, which was the change in the screening requirement from 100% to a minimum of 50% opacity. I can tell you when we initially started this effort, that was a concern of the planning staff. And Carlos can actually speak to this once I completed the presentation. We went back and forth to the community. The community has concerns, and their vision is that they actually have all eyes on their site. So their concern is they just didn't want areas that were completely covered and they didn't have visibility. So the initial request was to reduce it from 100% to 0. After we went back and forth with the community after months of review, we ended up at this 50%. So I can review with you near the end the findings we received from our departmental reviews, but overall at the end, it wasn't a concern for the planning department. Also, what we've done with the this text amendment, it actually has added that the property is located within the business core district, whether they're considered for major renovation or new construction, that they reflect the architectural design of the majority of the block face. So this includes that area into these changes. What was added also was accessory structure requirements. So any structures that are visible from the public right-of-way, they must be architecturally finished with materials that are consistent with the finish of the main structure. Next, the parking standards regarding access, vehicle access and flow shall be designed to have minimal impact on pedestrian circulation. So in cases where there is an alley, it is encouraged that the alley is utilized as that access point. For any structured parking, when it is applicable, the facade shall be architecturally embellished and integrated with the overall design of the development or the main structure. Next, any new construction and major renovation shall provide the lighting design for surface parking areas. This includes covered garage parking or parking structures, on-street parking. Previously in the code, this section was a requirement, but it was not updated. This updates this reference to the latest manual that is utilized for lighting standards. And so next, I will review with you the residential changes that are proposed. So one thing, we added the fencing and wall standards. So the construction of fencing shall be removed prior to obtaining a certificate of occupancy. This is for chain link fencing. So chain link fencing is allowed only during construction. Decorative fencing is encouraged, and the code will now specify some of those materials that are allowed. Retaining walls where they exist, it is encouraged that those are maintained and actually kept in place as much as possible, just to maintain the character of the district. Next change proposed was the alley access, which is the same as previously. It is recommended that it is utilized when possible. And the roof pitch was amended to a minimum of a 412, and this is for porches or for the main structure for houses. And what we've done is provided pictures of each just as a reference. Next, the accessory structures shall be architecturally finished, adhere to the building style of the principal structure. Accessory parking structures shall have the same design. This is sort of consistent with what was reviewed within the commercial district requirements. So in summary, the staff findings, we routed this for departmental review and comment. We received no objections. The planning department, as I mentioned earlier, we initially had concerns regarding the screening. I think where we ended up at is what you have before you today at this 50% requirement. The one thing planning department had concerns with was the solid waste, AC units, things like that, where you typically would find that screening. No objections were received from solid waste or from TPD. So the planning department felt that this would have been appropriate, this request to the 50%. One thing to mention is I just want to talk for a second about open storage and where it is allowed. David showed the map and it has the future land use designations on it. So I just want to clarify also, and just to add another layer to that, open storage is a permitted use in the industrial zones, and that's industrial general or industrial heavy, IG or IH. It is allowed as an accessory use only in CI, commercial intensive. So when you're looking at by right, the zoning would have to be industrial. So of the areas that David has shown and said it is possible to have, this is all the places it is allowed. That's if someone comes in with the rezoning, then they are allowed. But by right, it is the industrial zones where open storage is allowed. It's just simply a permitted use and not an accessory use. And in looking at the zoning map for that area, most of the industrial lands are located south of the boundary for the West Tampa overlay. So it wasn't as much of a concern. Also, it was a desire of the community and the residents. So, but one thing to keep in mind also is currently there are a couple of ongoing studies and planning efforts that are in process. So specifically for Main Street, Main Street was one of the areas that was selected. Council directed the planning department, the newly created planning department, to look at a couple of areas and create a couple of district plans. Main Street in West Tampa neighborhood was one of the areas selected for the district plan. So that area is on, that study is ongoing now, and the planning commission staff is a part of that study. I've identified on this map the area, which is, of course, the Main Street corridor, and it does jog up a little north. That is the area of the study that is ongoing. And I think what you're going to find is you'll see within the next year or so additional changes coming before you to the land development code as a result of these studies. Also, one of the goals in the near future, I'm not sure where it stands with the West Tampa overlay language, but the committee was actually considering an independent consulting team in the future to come before, to actually study the area and bring before the commission and city council some additional modifications to the overlay language, specifically residential standards, and also to kind of look at and do a complete look at the commercial district updates. There were some things that started with the city's planning department and we just could not complete. So that is something that they're looking forward to in the future. So given these ongoing studies, what is slated for the future, planning staff overall didn't have a concern with that 50% requirement. And just for timing and just to review the scheduling, we're looking at going to City Council January 14th. We actually have briefed City Council. We've briefed this Planning Commission on the request, and we're looking at having final adoption by February 18th, by mid-February. And this concludes my presentation. I'm available if you have any questions. And as I've mentioned, we also have the West Tampa CRA manager online, along with Carlos Ramirez with the West Tampa Community Advisory Committee, if you have any questions.
Thank you. There is no presentation by the applicant, am I correct? I would assume they would have said that. So we will go ahead and open it up to members of the public, and I'll ask HTV and also Melissa if anybody signed up for this item from the public.
We have no one on the line for public comment.
All right, thank you very much. Having no one signed up, I will open it up to the commissioners then for comments and questions on this item. Commissioner Kress, yes, go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate David's care in the residents' aesthetics in the neighborhood, but to me, I think the city laid out a pretty good argument that they worked closely with the community and also with the police department to come up with a good 50% compromise on the open storage issue. So I feel comfortable moving forward as the applicant suggested.
Thank you, Commissioner Kress. Are there any more comments from commissioners? I don't see anybody online with their hand raised or any pictures popping up. Is comments? Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess I have questions. I'm potentially a little confused. First would be to our executive director. Am I understanding, there are a number of changes proposed by this amendment, and the staff's recommendation is inconsistent, which would mean none of them would go into effect. Is that correct?
Yes, but our basis for the recommendation of inconsistency is on that one issue.
Correct. Okay. Yes. Yeah, that's where I'm kind of moving along that line. So there's one particular amendment that's causing the problem and potentially throwing out the baby with the bathwater, so to speak. And am I also correct in understanding that it's Planning Commission staff's concern, not City of Tampa Planning Department's concern? Okay.
That is correct.
Okay, and then the screening requirement appears from the presentations that got that the concern is limited to open space uses adjacent to residential. But the language may not be that limited. Is that correct?
I would ask if David or LaShawn were available to answer that question.
Okay, yeah, and so, I mean, where I'm going with this is that if the specific language requiring screening on open spaces requires 100% opaque screening for any differing land uses adjacent to one another, and there are multiple combinations of those differing land uses, but there's only one combination that's causing grief of Planning Commission staff, is there a compromise language that can be done to say, look, require when you're immediately adjacent to residential, give more than that 50, but everywhere else you get what you want? And because I gather the community's worried about being able to see everywhere, not just, okay, you put up the opaque barrier for an open storage area where you can't see anything beyond the open storage area. And the people who may own the open storage areas say, if somebody's in there, you know, stealing my stuff, nobody can see anything. But I can also appreciate residents, you know, being concerned about the unsightly view of something, you know, immediately adjacent to their residence. So while I'm tending to lean towards where Commissioner Kress is, I'm wondering if, you know, I mean, I know David said that there had been a lot of discussion over many years on this thing, but it seems amazing to me that some compromise language couldn't have been found that solved this problem. So I guess I've thrown a bunch of stuff out there, but I'll listen to both David and LaShawn respond. David first, I guess.
David Hay again with your staff. Yes, you are 100% correct. Our concern only is in regards to open storage when directly adjacent to residential uses. We had discussions with city staff, I believe prior to the holidays and everything, regarding a proposed compromise where only maybe screening is provided when it's adjacent to residential, and providing 50% opacity when next to commercial or the right of way. Those discussions did not lead to any agreement in a compromised language, and my understanding was the city wanted to move forward in the way the language was worked out with the community. And LaShawn can fill in anything else.
Yes, so this is LaShawn, City of Tampa. What we had, this is actually twofold. So one is this code states that for open storage, it will require that 50% opacity. So what we did was we looked at the zoning code and we looked at where is open storage allowed. Open storage is permitted by right in industrial zones, whether it's industrial heavy or industrial general. It is permitted as an accessory use in CI. So that property that David has shown, I'm not certain of the zoning of the property, but it's an accessory use in the CI zone. So what we did was we took a look at that, and that is why we felt when you look at the area and where the industrial zoning exists within the West Tampa overlay boundary, we didn't feel that it was something that would be of concern, especially when you couple other requirements at the time of permitting, other building code requirements that any developer or any applicant must meet at the time of permitting. They still must meet landscaping. They still must meet solid waste. All of these things must be met at the time of permitting. So we did not feel that that would have been a concern. The one thing also is that, and Carlos may speak to this, he can discuss with you the length of time we've spent on this. Any changes that are proposed, they go back to the Community Advisory Committee. So any recommendations that this commission may make on this language, certainly Carlos can take it back to the committee, and then it could be up for consideration so that by the time we are at City Council, then we can discuss if that would be changed. But it's not something that I believe, and Carlos can clarify again for me, that he can make the decision on its own on that. So at the time when David spoke to me about the concerns, there was no meeting to be held. And we were at the point of coming here to this point. So I'll let Carlos touch upon that, but I hope that answers some of the questions for you, Commissioner.
It does answer some of the questions I would like to hear from Carlos.
Good afternoon, Carlos Ramirez, West Tampa CAC. Yeah, we started this process back in June of 2019. There were business members, residential members that were a part of my subcommittee, and there were many topics that we discussed. There was actually a very long list of amendments that we wanted to make for the West Tampa overlay. However, after discussing it with planning and legal, it kind of got down to what you saw before you in the presentation. There were many issues that we did not agree on, and there was some heated debate. However, this particular issue was something that we all could agree on in our area, in the West Tampa area, that the accessory structures that are on Main Street or other corridors along this area, we wanted to make sure that it was going to be safe. And on the business, that's the residential side. On the business side, some of the business owners had concerns because as they're building and developing this area, and remember the whole point of the West Tampa CRA is to build this area economically. As they're going through and they're building things, there wasn't a very clear guide as to how much should be opaque and how much it shouldn't. Even though it said 100%, you would get TPD to come back and say, hey, this is not accepted, or other inspectors would come in and bring those issues up. So in order to make it safe for everyone, number one, for the residential concerns, and then for the business folks who wanted something that's going to help make this a little bit quicker, make this more streamlined, we came up with this language to be able to kind of meet both needs.
All right, thank you. Were there any more comments from the commissioners or questions at this point in time? Let me check online. I don't see anybody's hands raised or pictures showing. No? All right, seeing no more comments or questions, then I will go ahead and close public comment and open up the floor for motions by the commissioners. Commissioner Dowdy?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Give me one moment here. Sorry. I would like to move that the Planning Commission find the proposed Land Development Code text amendment related to the West Tampa overlay regulations consistent with the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and forward this recommendation to City Council. On my consistency recommendation, I'm going to cite land use policies 1.2.9, 1.2.13, 1.2.16, 1.2.24, and 13.4.1.
Commissioner Kress provides a second.
All right, we have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Dowdy citing policies 1.2.9, 1.2.13, 1.2.16, 1.2.24, 13.4.1, and a second by Commissioner Kress. Is there any more discussion from the commissioners on this item? Seeing none online and none in the room, I will ask the clerk to go ahead and take a roll call vote on this item.
Joseph?
Yes.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Dix?
Oh.
Was that a no, sir?
That's correct, no.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Green? Kress?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Motion carried 7-1. Commissioner Dix voted no.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you everyone for the presentations, and we will move on to our next item, 3A2 this time. Front porches and permitted projections into required yards, and the presenter will be Jennifer Malone.
Malone with your Planning Commission staff. Hopefully everybody can hear me and see my screen okay. This is another land development text code text amendment. It was part of the January 2020 cycle of text amendments, and this particular amendment was initiated by Tampa City Council. It will apply to all zoning districts to allow detached residential, semi-detached residential, and attached residential single-family developments to allow a front porch to project into the required front yard. It may encroach up to 8 feet into a front yard, but there will not be an allowance to reduce that front setback to less than 5 feet. We did find this consistent with the comprehensive plan because Tampa does have a robust inventory of historic homes from the early 20th century that feature front porches, and we have a variety of policies that really do seek to enhance the historic characteristics of the city's neighborhoods and relate the architecture and design to Tampa's history, and certainly for those policies. Additionally, residents will be able to more easily add a front porch to their home, which will streamline that development process, and we have several policies that supports that as well. So with that, I will let you know that the recommendation from staff is consistent, and I will turn it over to Sean with the city.
And good afternoon again, commissioners, and I'd like to share my screen. So I hope, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Here we go. Thank you so much. And Jennifer has done a great job in introducing this request. As she mentioned, this is a publicly initiated text amendment. This is a request that was directed by City Council. And this would amend Code Section 27-159, the permitted projections in the front yards. As she has mentioned, this is not a long request. This request would allow this projection in all residential districts. What I have done is just a chart, a small chart, just to show you under current code, you could project, the front porch may project into the required front yard in the RS50 and in certain RM districts, which is residential multifamily. The RS is the residential single family districts. With the proposed language, it would be allowed in all residential single family districts along with all residential multifamily districts. And also it would include any PDs or plan developments that would allow for the residential use. And I won't go through this. Jennifer went through the language for the proposed changes. The areas that I've highlighted in yellow are the areas for change within the code section. I will move forward to the staff findings. This was routed for departmental review. We received no objections. This would create consistency in the standard by permitting the front yard projections into all residential zoning districts. This would include, as I mentioned, the plan developments. And this does encourage the applicants to incorporate front porches in their site design, even with infill development. And when you're looking at certain overlay districts, especially, you end up with smaller sites. And sometimes that porch design would eat into that square footage. So this would allow for that flexibility and encourage that to be added in more site designs. This is the processing schedule. We're looking at heading to City Council for first reading in January. And then we're looking for final reading and adoption in February. This has been briefed by both the City Council and Planning Commission. And this concludes my presentation, and I'm available if you have any questions. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, LaShawn. And also, Jennifer, I will ask Melissa and HTV if there's anyone from the public who signed up for comments on this item.
We do not have anyone online to call or online to speak.
Pardon me? What was that?
We do not have anyone on the line to speak, sir.
All right. Having no one signed up for public comment, I will go ahead and open it up to commissioners for comments. Commissioner Bernstein?
Thank you for the presentation. This is a question that I suppose is directed to both LaShawn and Jennifer. More out of curiosity, historically, was there any policy reason for excluding certain residential zoning districts from this provision to begin with? Was it an oversight, or was there some policy that's outdated? Just curious to know why those boxes weren't checked up to now.
Yes, this is LaShawn. And in looking back, we couldn't find why it was not included within the residential multifamily districts, within all of them. The idea with the larger residential single family districts was that they typically would have a larger lot size, but it wasn't always the case. But certainly we could understand it not being in the PD requirement just because within the PD, the plan development, you'd have to specify the residential use. But other than that, we couldn't really find any specifics as to why it was not included. So the thought is just to go ahead and make that consistent across the board.
All right. Are there any more comments from commissioners? I'm not seeing any lights in the room or faces online. All right, seeing none, I will go ahead and close public comment and open it up to motions from the commissioners on this item. Commissioner Bernstein, yes.
I would move that we find in favor of the resolution on land development, code text amendment section 27-159 concerning front porches and permitted projections to be consistent with the Vision 2040 Comprehensive Tampa Plan.
I would second that, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner, was that Commissioner Dix? Okay. I got a motion by Commissioner Bernstein of consistency and a second by Commissioner Dix. Is there any more discussion on this item from the commissioners? Seeing none, checking online, I will ask the clerk to go on ahead and do a roll call vote on this item for us.
Joseph?
Yes.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Dix?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Kress? Kress?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you very much. All right, on to our last action item here, well, second to last action item. 3B, Hillsborough County Plan Amendment Procedures Manual Update, and the presenter will be Yeneka Mills.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Yeneka Mills, Planning Commission staff. I am here to present the unincorporated Hillsborough County Procedures Manual Update. Staff has been working on the Hillsborough County Procedures Manual Update for some time now. As you may know, the Procedures Manual is the document that guides the process for applying for a plan amendment. Lionel, if you could please go to the next slide. In its original form in 1986, the Procedures Manual was a separate document for each of the jurisdictions. Later on, it was decided that the document should be consolidated to try and standardize the process. And then more recently, we found that it was more efficient to once again separate the documents. So as of now, the cities of Temple Terrace, Tampa, and Plant City have a consolidated document, and then the manual for Hillsborough County will now have its own separate standalone document. Next slide, please. The document that you have before you has been vetted by Planning Commission as well as Hillsborough County's legal staff, as well as Hillsborough County senior staff, as well as Planning Commission staff. Next slide, please. As far as changes go, we did make some minor changes to remove the references to all of the cities from the document. Hillsborough County's Procedures Manual now has a refund policy, and applicants can receive a refund which is based on a sliding scale, and they receive a certain amount of their money back based on where they are in the process of the, where they are in the plan amendment process. We also made some minor revisions to things such as deadlines for advertising, continuous requests, and added some supplemental information for clarification purposes. As far as next steps go, the Procedures Manual will go before the Board of County Commissioners at a later date to be adopted by ordinance. And the Procedures Manual that is before you today is an action item for your vote. This concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mills. All right. I am going to assume that there's some public comment on this one. HTV, do you have a list? Are there people signed up for this item?
We don't have any public comment signed up until no one has called in for the early meeting. There were 4 people to sign up. We are guessing they will sign up for the public hearing this afternoon, or call in for the public hearing this afternoon.
Very good then. All right. Well, since there is no public comment on this item, surprisingly, I will open it up to the commissioners to see if they have any comments or questions on this item. Seeing none in the room and checking online. Not seeing any, so I will go ahead and close public comment at this time and open the floor up to entertain motions from the commissioners. And I see a light from Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we approve the procedures manual for unincorporated Hillsborough County and refer it along to the Board of County Commissioners for adoption.
Commissioner Kress with the second.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Bernstein, consistency, and a second by Commissioner Kress. Is there any more comment or discussion from the commissioners at this time? Seeing none in the room or none online, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item for us, please.
Joseph?
Yes.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Dix?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on to our final action agenda item, the approval of minutes for the following meetings. Regular meeting November 9th, 2020, and public hearing on county plan amendments November 9th, 2020. Is there a motion from the commissioners to approve? Commissioner Kress, yes.
Can I say so moved? November 9th meetings?
Yes, November 9th, 2020, and yeah, both on November 9th, regular meeting and public hearing on county plan amendments.
Motion to approve both of those.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kress, a second by Commissioner Dowdy. Seeing no more lights, I'll ask the clerk to take a roll call vote.
Joseph?
Yes.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Dix?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you. All right, now that we've completely gotten everything discombobulated and all out of order, let me see if I can figure out where we are now. I believe we are at 4C, Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan Update. All right, and the presenter will be Melissa Dickens and Jason K. I'm not gonna attempt that one.
Again, item is a staff report on progress with the unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan update. There has been quite a bit of work and internally, and we wanted to share our progress and where we are and use this presentation as an interim check-in. I'm joined by Jason Krasnowski, who is on our planning support services team, and Jason is going to give a run through of one of the mapping applications that he's developed related to the plan update. I also wanted to share that there are many other staff members who are logged in today to this presentation as staff leads for different portions of the plan update. This has been a really great group process. It's been a collaborative group effort. We've included staff across teams and across the agency, and we're excited to share where we are today and the progress that's being made. Next slide. Forgive me, I'm having to plug something in here. Thanks for your patience. So wanted to share a little bit about the approach to the update. We are updating the comprehensive plan in phases by section of the plan, but we're also being holistic in how we look at the plan and look at these different moving parts. So for each element, our staff is doing a tremendous amount of coordination work, both internally with county staff and with other agencies through a collaborative working group process. We also meet regularly as part of plan update team meetings. And these processes help make sure that we understand the interconnectedness of the various elements, we understand all of the moving parts, and make sure that any updates proposed to the plan are coordinated across different sections of the plan and across the plan update teams. The graphic on the right shows a little bit about the phases and where we are. You can see that the One Water puzzle piece is colored in, indicating that that was adopted last year. And then the element titles that are in bolded text, those are the portions of the plan that are currently in this internal development and update process. And that is the majority of the elements within the plan. We've begun the internal language development process. And so for today's presentation, we wanted to share some milestones, share a proposed schedule for each of these, and share some of the high-level concepts that are being discussed. We wanted to use this interim status update to get your feedback, get your comments, and answer any questions you may have. Next slide, please. This slide shows where we're headed in 2021 and the different staff leads across the agency. As part of the January 2021 cycle, our staff is initiating amendments to update the environmental and sustainability portion of the comprehensive plan. Moving into April, we'll be planning to initiate amendments that update the rec and open space, coastal management, and solid waste sections of the plan. Then later in 2021, we'll be starting with initiating updates to the housing and mobility sections, followed by future land use. And the bulk of the remainder of the presentation will be sharing some high-level concepts for each of these elements or topic areas for each of these elements, some of the goals that have been developed. But I did want to show that we do have the staff leads here today listening, and we look forward to your feedback. Next slide. So environmental and sustainability is updating what we currently call the conservation and open space element. This team is being led by Sean College and Diego Guerra, and this team has been through the working group process with both county staff and EPC. The draft language is in the final review phases with the senior county leadership. And then the Hillsborough River-related language will be going to the Hillsborough River Interlocal Planning Board and TAC for their review. You can see the 6 goals here on the screen. These goals are similar to what is in the current plan. There were no significant policy changes to the environmental and sustainability element, but staff did work to update and modernize the element and make sure it reflected the current thinking and current initiatives. And again, this will be moving forward as part of the January cycle. Next slide. Next, we have solid waste. This element, we've had some significant discussions with county staff on how they like to look at solid waste. And what we'd like to do is modernize and update the element and really think a little bit differently about how solid waste is viewed not only within the comprehensive plan, but also within the county. So adopting an integrated hierarchy of waste management and viewing waste not just as something to get rid of, but viewing it as a resource and something that can be a benefit and have a beneficial reuse. And this is proposed to move forward as part of the April cycle. Next slide, please. Next, we have the recreation and open space element. This is being managed by Krista Kelly and myself. This is also part of the April cycle, and we've been working with staff from both the Parks and Recreation Department and Conservation and Environmental Lands Management group to develop 7 topic areas that cover both recreational parks, so things like soccer fields or playgrounds, and also the use and access of conservation parks, regional parks, and trails. And the topics in the goal areas are currently still under development. We're holding ongoing working group meetings. And so the language specific to those goals will be forthcoming. Next slide. Next, we have coastal management. This is also being managed by Diego Guerra and Sean College. And this portion of the plan update is in the preliminary phases. On the screen, you'll see the current proposed goals as they sit today. This is consistent with what is in the plan today, but both within the coastal management element and incorporating language related to coastal systems that may be found in other areas of the plan. There will be some other goals that are developed, mainly informed by the forthcoming community vulnerability study that should be forthcoming shortly. And so we'd ask that for the coastal management language as well, you stay tuned, and we'll be developing some more language and goals once the community vulnerability study is finalized. Next slide, please. Next, we have housing. Housing is being managed by Jennifer Malone and Marianne Abrahamson, and that team has been developing several proposed goals for main goal areas around county. Four main goal areas that affect housing in the county. And this group has been working both with county staff and also getting regular feedback before different boards. I believe they were before the Planning Commission a few months ago. They also provided an update to the Affordable Housing Advisory Board back in November. And one of the other items that the housing leads are working on kind of behind the scenes is putting together a scope for updating the affordable housing density bonuses and looking at ways to make them more effective. And again, that'll be coming to you later in 2021. Next slide, please. Next, we have mobility. This is an update to what we currently call our transportation element. This team is being led by Katrina Corcoran and Rich Clarendon. And they are right now working on looking at the element holistically and getting some overarching direction on the different concepts before proceeding with drafting policy. A lot has changed in terms of both planning and technology and other aspects of transportation. And so this group has been hard at work coordinating with county staff, HART, Cutter, TBARDA, FDOT, and I think others that I forgot, and making sure that mobility planning is being coordinated with future land use, housing, and the rest of the comprehensive plan. Next slide, please. And then we have future land use. This element is being managed by Melissa Leinhardt. And we are in the preliminary development phase of updates to the future land use element. It is by far the largest of all the current adopted elements that are in the Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan today. But we are making progress on many aspects of the FLU through other initiatives. So significant components of the future land use element language were updated or are currently being updated through the One Water update, the WR2 and RPT land use studies and corresponding updates, the forthcoming TDR draft language. All of those items are things that are moving aspects of the future land use element forward and will help make the overall update continue to move forward as well. This team has been working on looking at all of the language within the internal database called, also created by the Planning Support Services team, we call it CPUD. It's where we have all of the language for the comprehensive plan adopted, and we can compare and look across elements. They've been examining that and seeing how the different topic areas relate. Also been doing some best practices research on different topics, things like connectivity. And they've also been contributing as part of the related topic working groups to both housing and the mobility sections. And Jason's going to touch on this a little bit later, but one of the other things that will help inform the future land use element update is we have a mapping exercise that we've been participating in with county staff, and it's a great way to inform the different aspects of the future land use element update, as well as the work of the working group. Next slide. We also wanted to share some of the ongoing public and stakeholder outreach. This is kind of the beginning phases of the stakeholder outreach, and it's not necessarily a full list of everything that will be completed, but we wanted to share what's currently in the process. We asked the board commissioners here to focus the outreach in a really data-driven and statistically significant way on unincorporated Hillsborough County. So making sure that we were targeting and hearing from residents and stakeholders specifically in the unincorporated area. This takes a couple of different forms. We have a consultant contract with HCP, and they've been helping us conduct both telephone interviews and then broader telephone surveys. And we should have the results of this outreach and be able to report to you here later in the spring, probably the April or May Planning Commission. We will have a full report and presentation on the findings. And then we also have all of our element leads coordinating with our public engagement and communications team on the creating a website and project page for each of the elements, making sure that we're communicating to the public when there is an opportunity to provide input, when we have our virtual public and stakeholder meetings, also using e-blasts, social media, and other communication tools. Next slide. And then we'll move over to the vision mapping framework. This is a really neat tool that I'm excited that Jason will have an opportunity to walk you through. While he's getting set up, wanted to share a little bit more about it. It's a GIS web mapping application that can be used to examine multiple data sets, big data on a spatial basis. It's also a way for us to look at all of the many previous planning recommendations in one location. So to be able to see where there are areas of overlap or things that multiple studies have recommended. It's helping us to identify corridors and nodes for focus. And then within those corridors and nodes, looking at potential areas of opportunity for infill, for revitalization and redevelopment, specifically within the urban service area. And as part of this, we want to build on we want to use this tool to build on the existing location-based and geography-based components that are in the plan, like our community planning areas, some of the other spatial components, to develop policy recommendations that are geographically based. So things such as reducing parking requirements, elimination of minimum density waivers, reductions in speed, one of the Vision Zero components you heard about earlier. So we're really hoping that this tool can help us with updates to the future land use element and updates to other aspects of the comprehensive plan. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jason to give a quick demonstration. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you, Melissa, and good afternoon, commissioners. Jason Krasnowski, Planning Commission staff. And as mentioned, we've developed a web-based vision framework mapping tool that has been used during a couple of future land use working group meetings. The tool is available on our website and loads with a map of the county overlaid with areas of opportunity, bus stop frequency buffer areas, and redevelopable land. So first, users can choose one of our predefined sectors of the county to focus in on. So in this case, I'll choose the university area. And then the redevelopable land layer will populate. And from there, users can add additional layers, such as the nodes that Melissa mentioned, if that loads. Also, the roadway context classification layers, some environmental layers, such as wellhead resource protection areas, and also our future land uses. There are a few other widgets up here at the upper right, such as a legend. Of course, because this is a demonstration, everything's going to go super slow. There's also a base map gallery that you could add to change for the aerial underneath. We have some hints and tips, and we have more information about the data. As I mentioned, it's on our website. So if you go to Data, Tools, and Links, and Tools, Maps, and GIS, and then Tools Overview, it's listed down here at the bottom. With that, I'll turn it back over to Melissa for any questions.
Thanks, Jason. And we are closing out the presentation today. I think Jason showed the questions and comments portion of the presentation. So again, we wanted to share this status update with you and get your feedback, get your comments on where we are and where we're headed.
All right, thank you both for the presentation. Since this is not an action item, we won't be having any public comment on this, so I will go on ahead and open it up to the commissioners for their input. Any comments or questions? Check online. Is that Commissioner Dowdy? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just some brief comments, Melissa. I'm thinking, you know, it's a good process that we're going through. I just wanted to, I know we've had some discussions you've had some discussions with me and along with Sean back during the One Water stages, and I'm just like you to make sure that you keep your mind towards potential habitat corridors along those lines, and when you're looking at the environmental and sustainability and recreation and open space languages, anywhere that you can possibly accommodate connectivity and the things that we had talked about before, I would be appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Dowdy. Just making sure there was no response from staff. Is there any other comment or questions from the commissioners on this item? Seeing none in the room and none online, I will say good job to both of you. I think obviously the progress on this has gone along really well. That's obviously why you haven't heard from me, Melissa. So keep up with the good work, and I look forward to seeing the next progression of this. All right, thanks. All right, so moving on to our next item up, we have 4D, TACPA 20-34 Future Land Use Map Amendment, and the presenter will be Mr. David Hay.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. David Hay again with your Comprehensive Plan and Policy Review Team. This next amendment is the first of 9 amendments that you're going to see as part of this briefing. These amendments will be back with a consistency finding at your February public hearing. And these are all part of the November 2020 group of amendments. The first amendment is TACPA 2034. It is located at 411 and 413 South Willow Avenue and 502 South Orleans Avenue. Here we have the subject site. It's within the Central Tampa Planning District. It does consist of 3 separate parcels. So 2 of them are in the Hyde Park Spanish Creek neighborhood, and the southern one is in the historic Hyde Park neighborhood. Here we have an aerial of the subject site. The parcels are outlined in red here. This consists of 2 separate folios, and then we have an additional one at the southeast corner of South Orleans Avenue and Horatio. This is South Willow Avenue running north-south. We have West Platte Street to the north. Of course, the Selman Expressway runs into downtown. And then over on the far lower right is Woodrow Wilson Middle School. A little background, this is privately initiated. It is small scale. It's approximately 0.52 acres in size. Currently, all 3 parcels are designated residential 10, and the applicant is seeking to go to the residential 35 future land use category. Here we have the currently adopted future land use map. You could see the 3 sites are designated at residential 10, similar to just north of the subject site. Directly to the east and south of the site, we have the residential 35, represented by the dark brown. That's the category that the applicant is seeking. And immediately to the east, we have a residential 20 future land use category, which is in the lighter brown. As you go further west, that bright red, even though it's located on local roads, it's the old bread factory. It's now condominiums. And then off the screen, there is some office uses up in their plat. If the amendment was approved, the sites would go to the residential 35 future land use category. And reviewing the impacts, currently the site can be considered for 5 total units or 8,022 square feet of non-residential. Under the residential 35 future land use category, the unit count would go up to 18 dwelling units or a maximum of 13,752 square feet of non-residential. The impacts, basically, the site would still need to meet commercial locational criteria, and the proposed amendment would allow for additional density, including the RM12, RM16, RM18, and RM24 zoning districts. That's it for that amendment. If you have any questions.
Nope, it doesn't look like anyone has any questions here. So you can, nope. No questions online, no questions in here. We will move on to our next presentation then. And that will be 4E TACPA 20-33. And the presenter being Danni Collins.
Good afternoon. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. This is Danni Collins with your Planning Commission staff. This is TACPA 2033. The subject site is within the Central Tampa Planning District. It's located here on the locational map. It's within the Seminole Heights Urban Village, and more specifically, it's within the Old Seminole Heights neighborhood. Here's an aerial map of the subject site and the surrounding properties. You'll see the subject site outlined in this black color. It's at the northwest corner of Westlake Avenue and North Florida Avenue. You'll see the development pattern to the west of the subject site is predominantly residential. Along North Florida Avenue, you'll see commercial uses, and then directly to the east of the subject site is American Legion Park. Quick background of the request. This is a privately initiated amendment. It's a small scale amendment. It's approximately 0.9 acres. The request is to change the future land use designation from the public, semi-public future land use category to the community commercial 35 designation. Here is the adopted future land use map showing the subject site under that public, semi-public future land use designation. You'll see there's public directly to the west and north of the subject site. Further to the west, represented by this tan color, is residential 10. And then to the south along and southeast along North Florida Avenue is the CC 35 future land use designation. And then directly to the east is recreational open space. Here is the proposed future land use map showing the subject site under that community commercial 35 future land use designation. This is a slide showing the potential impacts of the proposed request. Currently under the public, semi-public designation. The maximum is not defined. The density and intensities determined by the surrounding uses. As proposed under the CC 35 designation, the site can be considered for potential up to 31 dwelling units or just over 78,400 square feet of non-residential development. So this request would allow for the consideration of intensive and general commercial service, office and residential uses on the subject site. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Are there any comments or questions on this one from the commissioners?
Do we know what they're thinking about putting there, or any idea of what they requested and behind why they're going for this designation?
They haven't, I don't think they submitted their concept of what they're trying to do with the site. But I can.
Was that okay, Commissioner Cardenas?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Were there any more comments or input questions from the commissioners? I don't see anybody on the WebEx raising their hands, so we will call that a no and move on. Thank you, Mr. Collins. We'll move on to our next item, F, City of Tampa Plan Amendments. And we will start with F1, I guess, and the presenter will be Jennifer Malone.
Your Planning Commission staff, hopefully everybody can hear me okay and see my screen. I will brief on amendments 35 through 41. These are all parks amendments. I believe this board is very familiar with that effort of changing these parks and parkland to the recreational open space designation on the future land use map. Again, this was initiated by Tampa City Council, and we have been doing this process for a little over a year now, taking batches of parks. So first we're at Bay to Bay Boulevard Park, which is in South Tampa, and the Sunset Park neighborhood. Here it is outlined at West Shore and West Bay to Bay Boulevard. It is residential 6, and the request would recognize it as a park with the recreational open space feature land use. And this would remove any potential for dwelling units or non-residential square footage on the site. And if I don't hear any questions, I'm just gonna go right into the next one. Cyrus Green Park is in Central Tampa Planning District, as well as the College Hill neighborhood. It is at East Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and North 22nd Street. Here it is outlined on the map. It has 2 future land uses. Most of it is already recreational open space, but there's a portion that is community commercial 35, which is that red color. And then this amendment would take the entire parcel to the recreational open space. Again, that would remove any potential for dwelling units or square footage. This one would have about 62 dwelling units, 150,000 square feet of non-residential removed from the site. Next, we have Phillips Park, which is in the Central Tampa Planning District in the Ridgewood Park neighborhood. This is at West Columbus Drive and North Boulevard. It is residential 10. There's also community mixed use 35 to the east of the subject site. And again, this would recognize it as recreational open space as a park. And this would remove the potential for dwelling units or square footage. It would be considered for about 4 dwelling units now. This is a picture of the park. Next, we have Villa Brothers Park, which is in the Central Tampa Planning District in the Armory Gardens neighborhood. It is located along North Armenia Avenue. We have North Howard Avenue to the east, as well as the JCC to the east as well, and that old armory that was redeveloped a couple of years ago. The park is residential 20, to the east is community mixed use 35, and then this would take that to the recreational open space again, removing the potential for up to 86 dwelling units or about 9,000 square feet of non-residential uses. 2039 is Robert C. Gardner Park, which is in Tampa Heights in the Central Tampa Planning District. It's located along North Highland Avenue. This aerial, a lot has changed in this area, as I'm sure that the commissioners are aware, but we're in kind of near the Armature Works, just outside of downtown. It is residential 35. There's some commercial 35 in the area as well. This would take it to the recreational open space. Again, it would remove any potential for those dwelling units or the non-residential square footage on the subject site. We have a Marty Collins Cemetery next. It is within the Central Tampa Planning District in the McFarland Park neighborhood. It is also located along West Columbus Drive. Most of this is public, semi-public, and a small portion is community commercial 35. This request would take the entire parcel to the recreational open space. And this would remove any potential for those the dwelling units. It's a small amount of dwelling units. Most of the site was public, semi-public, which does not have a maximum similar to the recreational open space. Last but not least, we have Rome and Sly Park in the University Planning District in the Egypt Leto neighborhood. This is outlined on your screen. It is at North Rome Avenue and West Sly Avenue. Most of the park is already designated recreational open space, but that portion to the west is residential 20. Again, this would take the entire park to recreational open space. And it would remove the potential to have any dwelling units or non-residential square footage on the subject site. That concludes my presentation, and I am available for questions.
Thank you, Ms. Malone. Seeing no questions throughout the presentation, I'll assume there are none unless I see anyone pop up online, and we will move on to our next item. Item number 5, Director's Report.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Melissa Zornita, Executive Director. I emailed out to you all 2 things this morning, the status of contracts as well as the Executive Director's report of activities that myself or staff have participated in. We have spent a lot of time on the RP2 and the Waimama Village 2 land use category studies, moving those to the plan amendment, through the plan amendment process, including a workshop with the Board of County Commissioners last month and one coming up on Wednesday. So you'll see that showing up a number of times. And then we are hoping the plan is to move that to you all to a public hearing on February 1st. One other thing that I wanted to highlight, that we were requested after your last meeting by the Board of County Commissioners to initiate a plan amendment to remove wetland density credits or calculations from properties in the rural area. So that is something we are working with the county attorney's office on what the appropriate language is. But today, properties that get, if they have less than 25% of their property as wetlands, they get a full density credit. They get density as if the whole property was uplands. If the wetlands are more than 25% of the property, they get a 25% credit on top of the density applying to their uplands. So this would change how the density is calculated for properties in the rural area. And that will be coming before you probably in March or April as for a workshop briefing and then for plan amendment public hearings. But it was a unanimous direction from the Board of County Commissioners for us to be asked to do that. One of the other major things that we worked on and wrapped up in the last month are our annual report for the Plan Hillsborough and our MPO calendar. You will be getting hard copies of both of those in the mail soon, but you'll also see links to them on our website and in our upcoming newsletter coming out this week. They're both just beautiful documents. I'm very proud. We've got some very talented staff to do those things for us. And they've created some great work products. I hope you find them helpful. And next month at your meeting, you'll be getting a presentation on sort of the status of the strategic plan and how that dovetails into our annual report. So we've done a lot of maneuvering with scheduling in the last few weeks, and I appreciate all of your help with that. Our next meeting will be February 1st. For that public hearing, it is a public hearing only. That will be at 5:30, and that is so that we can address the Waimama and RP2 amendments. separately from any of your other plan amendment cycles, because it would make for a really long evening to do it on top of some of your other amendments. So we also will have a regular meeting on February 8th, and then public hearing on the Tampa plan amendments that you just were briefed on that evening. We've had a couple of snafus as we've been sending out schedulers and emails on this. If you didn't get an email from me this morning with this report attached to it, that means it's going to the wrong email address for us to get you something in a timely manner. So, because that's the distribution list that myself or Sandy or Sharon will use. So please let us know, let me know if you'd like it to go to a different email address that will get it to you faster, because I noticed that a number of them were going to the plancom.org emails, which are great because they capture everything as public record, but I know you all might not check them as quickly as you might other email addresses. The last thing that I wanted to mention is that Sandy Mortulero, who has been our office manager and has worked for the Planning Commission well over 30 years, is retiring at the beginning of February. And so this is the last meeting that she's going to help all of us with. I don't know if she's still upstairs. She was getting the food together for you all. But ever since I've worked here, I've had the opportunity to work closely with Sandy, and it has been a joy the entire time. And so she's going to be greatly missed. So I wanted to mention that as well. With that, that concludes my report.
Thank you. All right. Other business, chair's business, I have none. Old business, new business, committee reports. Are there any commissioners with committee reports for us? Let me check online. Seeing no lights in the room, seeing no lights online, we will move past that. And it looks like we have come to the end. So we will go ahead and thank everybody for their time today and adjourn this meeting. Should I announce that? Yeah, there's a public hearing at 5:30. What time is it now? 4:49. So we'll probably start it close to then. So yeah, we'll see you guys all on the other link later on, and I will adjourn it again.
That's good. Okay, sure thing. Yes, we do. We have pizza and stuff upstairs, yes. 5:30, yes. Yes.